you mean, Jammeh will come without Barrow okaying it, or Barrow is just saying it, but in other words, there's something that is something that we don't know. What do we know? What do you know that we don't know?
So I saw the president saying, according to what I read on the front line, that President Jammeh will never come back to the Gambia if I do not approve of it. Honestly, Mr. Balde, if I was to be on these three seats as an advisor, diplomatically, if I were to be his advisor on diplomatic matters, security matters, and the legal matters, I would never use the pronoun I. I would not. I would say, Jammeh, as a Gambian citizen, if he wants to come back to the Gambia, he can come back, but the country has laws governing it. So if there is anybody who is indexed by an institution or even not an institution, you could face the full force of the law. But premising it along the lane that one is uh, innocent until proven guilty. I don't know why he is using that, because this is what we were all shunning until 2016, the I factor in the management of state matters or state affairs should be discouraged. Because is he the law? Well, I do hear a worrisome trend coming from the president these days, repeating the fact that President Jammeh was one time a president and he knows the powers that a president has. Well, that is a fact. But a president does not have any power without being empowered by the people. So that's why the US Constitution begins with we, the people. And the power of democracy definitely is derived from, first of all, universal adult suffrage. But before that, the culture of democracy is where laws come from, and those laws are the referees of how state matters and state affairs should be managed. So if I were to be him, I would definitely not use the word I. Of course, people heard me in the past that I am not his advisor. Let nobody ask me to advise him. I am not advising him here. I am just reminding him of the fact that the powers that Jammeh had, which he is making reference to today, if he reflects just within a millisecond, he would know that neither him nor Jammeh have power. It is the people that have power. So the I pronoun in this thing should definitely be discouraged in governance. Yeah.
Okay. President Barrow might have said that. Maybe he's taking cue from what Jammeh did for Jawara. Jammeh okayed Jawara's amnesty. It was passed through National Assembly. And then his gratuity also was approved at the National Assembly. And Jawara subsequently came, but Jawara was subdued. He recapitulated. He gave up politics entirely until his demise. So in this case, I think one might be tempted to say that Barrow, because he's the commander-in-chief, there's no way Jammeh could come back as commander-in-chief. And then he cannot land in the Gambia and then, command that respect or without him okaying it.
Yes, thank you, Ibrahim. It's a very good comparison you've made. It's going to make my answer very easy. Because have you ever heard Yahya Jammeh throughout his 22-year rule say that if I don't okay it, Sadada will not come back?
But
Yahya
Sadat,
Jammeh didn't.
but
No,
Sadat was Sadat. No, I
no,
didn't
no,
hear
no,
that.
no. Have you ever? Yahya is a military man. Has he ever said, Sadauda Kairabajaro will never come back to the Gambia if I, Yahya Jammeh, don't okay it? I've not heard him say it
No,
anywhere.
I haven't heard it.
I am going to surprise you and many people. I was on the center stage of those people who were part of that negotiation, directly or indirectly. Yahya Jammeh did not claim single-handedly that he brought Sadauda. Of course, he was the president. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He is the custodian of the Gambian constitution in terms of governance, and he was also the on the driver's seat of Gambia's foreign policy. These are some areas that you cite to differentiate between a president and any ordinary person. That is well known. There is no need for somebody to be coming back on rallies and meetings reminding people that I am the president, I have power. There is no need to say that. So there are people in the country and outside. One of them, maybe because I did not contact him to ask him, he was a well known businessman who everybody knew in the Gambia. He participated fully well in what brought Sadauda Kairaba back. There is one person who is late now, the former director of the National Intelligence Agency. My brother, may Allah have mercy on him, Abdullah Kujabi, played a pivotal role in what brought Sadauda back. There were people involved in that negotiation. Yeah, Jammeh did not single-handedly get up and say, Sadauda come back, and he came back. You mentioned the National Assembly, right? You mentioned laws that govern how somebody can be a president and how you should be treated after leaving the presidency. Okay? So it was not Yahya Jammeh alone who made it possible for President Jawara to come back. I wish I could name this businessman, because if I were to write a book, many people are jumping around in the Gambia today. If I publish my book, some of them will definitely go under their beds and stop bluffing, because I know how Sadauda came back. Sadauda did not beg anybody. He did not subdue per se. It's just because he chose. Because Sadauda said in Mansa Konko in 1992 that he wanted to leave. You see, this was a seed in Sadauda way before he was invited back home. But you know, however much determined you are, he has people around him. But I can tell you today, Ibrahim, I, as young as I was, I even, surprisingly, let me tell you today, I spoke to Sadauda Kairabaja, me, in my office in Washington, D.C. In fact, during that phone conversation, he would call me Ibrahim here, your name, and he would call me Essa there, and he would laugh over it. I spoke to him directly. I can swear on the Quran. The man was a very simple man, but there was a reason why he spoke to me. His son, who was in Maryland, we had very good working relations. Musa Basadi, a gentleman, facilitated that call, not for him to ask to come back to Gambia. No, there was a reason why Musa knew me, used to come to my office, and then for whatever reason, I spoke to Sadauda as a parent, just to talk to him. And then, but honestly, if we are to record history, Sadauda never, ever subdued before anybody, begged anybody he wanted to come back to the Gambia per se. Jammeh also did not run around. Nobody ever had Jammeh in any rally saying that I am the one who made sure that Sadauda, because since Sadauda came back to the Gambia, nobody has ever had Jammeh speak at a rally, at a meeting, and say disparaging remarks about Sadauda. Did you hear it? I did not.
No.
Yeah.
So on the Jammeh issue, finally, one would have expected you to side with Barrow instead of Jammeh, because literally you were at daggers drawn with Jammeh to an extent that people know how you fell out. And even in one of my interviews, you said you didn't spare Jammeh, so you are not going to likely spare Barrow either. Now, I mean, have you shifted your allegiance or alliance with Jammeh?
No, I don't owe allegiance to anybody. And allegiance, I don't owe allegiance to Barrow. I don't owe allegiance to Jammeh. I owe allegiance to the Republic of the Gambia. And I have said it over and over for more than a decade now. Even when I was, like you described it, there was no dagger on my palm against Jammeh. I was with, if it is a dagger, it was a dagger of impartiality and truth, not personal vendetta. So if it is that, what I used to say is, if it is about allegiance being subjective, being kind of biased, I would have been biased towards Jammeh, because Jammeh is the one who knows me. I don't know Adama Barrow. I just know him like this. But the relationship that was between me and Yahya Jammeh definitely does not exist between me and Barrow. And but with all that, when Jammeh was challenging public confidence and public opinion against the will of the people, as people were describing it, some of us stood up to speak our minds. It doesn't mean that my speeches and my criticism was biblical, neither was it Quranic. It wasn't dogmatic. It is an opinion. But when it comes to this case, I don't want people to be seeing this between Jammeh and Barrow. Because, like I said, President Barrow should understand one thing. He is not a president because he made himself a president. And Yahya Jammeh also should understand one thing. He was not a president because he made himself a president. It is we, the people, who have the power to either put somebody there and put you out. That's why we still have the video clips of the former chairman of the IEC announcing results. The results were coming from the people. They were not coming from Jammeh. If it was coming from Jammeh alone, then the former IEC chairman would have said one vote versus one vote, because it will be Adama Barrow's vote versus Jammeh's vote. But it's the people that voted for them. So this is why I'm not shifting allegiance. I've never been allied to any one of them when it comes to national matters. What I'm trying to say here is this, Mr. Balde. President Yahya Jammeh is the former president of the Republic of the Gambia. I am not defending him. I am not against anybody. What I'm saying is the issue of Yahya Jammeh is not an individual issue. It's not a person saying this or that. Yahya Jammeh was an institution. In fact, he's still an institution as a former president. Because when you talk about Jammeh, you'll talk about his assets. In fact, look at it this way. How could Gala come into existence? Is it not Gambians against looted assets? Whose assets are they? Yahya Jammeh's asset, isn't it?
Yeah.
What brought about the TRRC? What about the Janneh Commission? Because of the institutionalized image of Jammeh, that's why those things were created. So in this case, for him to come back, I will repeat myself. I'm not saying it should. I cannot control what the government would do, but as a citizen who has the right to express my opinion, it would be a very ugly picture for him to land at the airport, and it will be a push and pull and a tug of war of somebody will come and say, we'll put you in cuffs. Because one has to be careful too. In this world, what goes around
Comes
comes
around.
around. Nobody can predict what will happen in the future. So